Hi, my name is Ivette Fuentes, and this is my video blog called Multiverse. So what I wanted to talk today was about the overlap of science and art. So that's something that interests me very much. When I was a teenager, I used to dance ballet, and I almost took the decision of doing that professionally. So I would say I started off as being more interested in artistic things rather than scientific ones. And then I became a scientist, and I started to really miss art. But the fantastic thing of, doing whatever you like is that most of the time it's always possible to mix it with other things you like. So because I miss art so much, I then have had some opportunities, not many, of mixing science with art. So in particular, I worked with a friend of mine and a colleague of mine called Andrzej Dragan, who is a very well-known photographer, and now he does some filming as well. And I can tell you the story about that. But I also participated in other smaller projects that I think I will talk about them as well in this blog with time. But I think what I wanted to say today is that what I find amazing about doing science or doing art, or doing them together, is that I guess that in our society people think that doing art is something very creative, and doing science is something very logical and very mechanical. However, I think this is not true. In fact, they're very, very similar, and the process of working in these two areas, I find it very, very similar. So in particular, I wanted to tell you about my experience. So Andrzej came to work within my group, and we did a lot of work together in the overlap of quantum mechanics and general relativity and so on. And I was very aware of his work as a photographer, and which I admired it also very much. But then one day Andrzej came and said that he was going to work on a film. He was doing photography, but suddenly he felt ready to put his skills together and his passion together to make a short film. And he invited me to participate. He told me one of the most flattering things that people have told me, which he said he found, well, I don't want to say it exactly how he is because I'm kind of shy, but he said basically that he found me to be very creative, and that he thought that I could be creative not only in science, but perhaps also in art. And he wanted to try that, and he wanted to see what came out of that. So he, as I said, he invited me to participate in this film. So of course I would not say no to something like that. It sounded like a fantastic idea, and we got started to work together. So it was quite an interesting time because during the morning we would get together in my office and we would work on science, and I was, I actually hired Andrzej to work as a postdoc in my group, so I was the boss there. But then in the evening we would get together, and then we would work on the film, and he was like Maestro Dragan, right? So he was the boss. So this kind of change of roles was very, very interesting, and sometimes a little tense as well. But what I wanted to tell you about this experience is that what was very interesting for me was the process, that it felt very similar. Working in the morning, doing physics, and then working in the evening with thinking about how to make this film. In both cases, you need a lot of skill. Well, of course, with the film, I was just helping with ideas because I have no skills there. Andrzej is very skillful and very talented. And well, in the morning, we both have mathematical skills and techniques in physics and so on. So you need skills, you need techniques, and these are what allows you then to express and be creative. And kind of sitting and watching equations and trying to figure out how to, work with them to maybe answer a question that you have, or perhaps sometimes what I like to do is sort of create something new, like create a technology. So how can I do to get a device that measures space-time very precisely? So you sit in front of the blackboard and you look at the equations and you think and you discuss and you try something, and then the other person says, nah, that's a really bad idea, let's try something else. And then, the process of working in this film was similar. We still were, having similar discussions about what do we want to say and how should we say it and how should this be presented and so on. So both are very creative. And actually the film that we did is about a scientist making a discovery. We were talking, the idea came when we were talking about how people have this wrong image of physicists doing very boring things on a blackboard and so on, and that it's very cold somehow. And actually doing physics is super emotional. You get very pissed off when things don't go the way you want, or when somebody has a different point of view. It's hard not to be emotional, but then when it works, you get joy, you get excited. Sometimes it's a little bit as a roller coaster because things are going well, and then you find a mistake in your calculation. It turns out the whole scheme doesn't work, but then you have an idea on how to fix it. So it's very, very emotional. But the most important emotion, I would say, in physics is when you understand something deep and you have this, oh, wow, right? And I think that's why we're physicists, because we're searching for this awe moment, for this exciting moment. So we wanted to make this film and show that to the audience, show that physics is very emotional, and try to, in a visual way, transmit this awe emotion that you get when you discover something. So it's a short film. It's called Hierarchy Lost, and yes, it's made by Andrzej Dragan. So maybe you can look it up, or I'll post something related to it here in my channel at some point. I need to find with Andrzej. So anyway, that is a story and an experience that I wanted to tell you in the overlap of, say, about science and art. But I have other things I want to say in this respect, so I will keep talking about this topic. In my multiverse, it will be another of the topics I want to discuss. And well, I also wanted to tell you that I'm going to be doing some videos in Spanish. I'm Mexican, and I would also like to connect to the Spanish-speaking community. So you will find around some videos in Spanish as well. So I hope to see you soon, and thank you very much for watching.